Good evening and welcome to the June 14th, 2016, 5:30 p.m. Commissioner hearing. If you could please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We actually have a pretty light hearing scheduled tonight. We are going to go ahead and open with item number 3, which is an open public forum. This is an opportunity for the public to speak on any item that is not on our agenda tonight. So if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on anything that is not on our agenda tonight, this is your opportunity to do so. Seeing that everyone here is for the other items, if there's no one moving forward, then I will go ahead and close this item and move to hearing item number 4, which is to amend the Spokane County Code Title 3, Chapter 3.06 International Fire Code. And we have Randy Visha here to give us a staff overview.
Good evening, Board. Randy Visha, Building Director, Spokane County Building and Planning. Yes, this evening, we are putting in front of you proposed revisions for your consideration and adoption to our Spokane County Title III, specifically the International Fire Code. Else here. Over the past several years, we've been working collaboratively with the Spokane County Fire District, some of which are present tonight. It was a great effort. We've reviewed this with the water districts, also our environmental services and public works departments, as well as the State Department of Health regarding water systems. And then I briefed the board Tuesday, May 17th of these proposals. So we're here tonight and we'll just recap a few of those changes for you. So the primary objective of the revisions was really to just reduce the language in Title III. It was pretty much redundant with the the International Fire Codes, and concurrently with the 2015, which will be effective July 1. So we really did a lot of reduction, removing tables that already appear in the fire code. Didn't feel that it was necessary to repeat it in our own county code. Except where explicitly for the use locally here. It also updates the WAC references for water system design. We've done that, and that was the meetings I held with environmental services. So we had improper WAC references, and we deleted a lot of that language because it was just the technical how to build a water system and what materials to use. That's all specifically in the WAC language. We are adopting in this round Appendixes B and C, which are related to fire flow and also hydrants. That is language that is usually developed locally. These appendices provide for that language, and it's quite common for jurisdictions to use that. The fire flow tables have been unchanged since '72. We had them in our Title III, which was also redundant. So we're just literally stripping Title III because we have an appendix that has the identical tables in it. And in addition, Appendix B provides for an additional 25% reduction in fire flow required for buildings equipped with automatic sprinkler systems. So it is more than we were allowing under our previous Title III. We are reformatting and aligning it. The Title III, the way it was written, was kind of disorganized and it left you jumping back and forth. So we tried to reformat that consistent with Title III, but also consistent with the international codes and how they're laid out in their formatting. And then finally, we had a clarifying note for rural cluster developments, which was always the intent, but it wasn't very clear in its reading, and that was that you wouldn't recognize the gross acreage of the common area lot, which is generally the large piece that's left for natural purposes, and that wasn't clear, so we've clarified that that does not go toward figuring fire flow, and that was the original intent. That is really all I have, unless you have questions for us.
Do you have any questions for Randy? Okay, we do have a letter for the record from Fire District 9, and we also have Doug Bleeker, and actually, this is probably under public hearing portion, isn't it, rather than staff portion. So let me back up. If we have no further questions for staff, I'm going to go ahead and open up our public hearing. And we do have, if anyone wishes to comment, you fill out this yellow form. We do have Doug Bleeker, Assistant Chief for Fire District 9 here to speak tonight and make a few comments. So if you want to come down and state name and address for the record, and also note that we do have a letter from Fire District 9 from the fire chief, so thank you very much for that.
Good evening. Thank you. I am Doug Bleeker, Assistant Chief of Spokane County Fire District 9. We're at 3801 East Farwell Road in Meade. And in 1987, we had the Hangman Hills Fire. And 1991, we had Firestorm. And coming out of that, we learned a number of lessons the hard way. And we sat down to try and incorporate those lessons learned in order to make a safer environment for the taxpayers. And we started with some things that nobody was really addressing at that time. And in the early 90s, our fire service leaders working with building officials, water people, fire protection engineers, came up with what we have today for Spokane County Title III. And actually, it was pretty good. As you go to Firewise community workshops across the United States, you take your own local ordinances with you and you compare those to others. And other agencies would look at what we had in Spokane County. It's like, wow, I wish we had that. So it was a very good initial effort at learning from some hard lessons. But that's 25 years ago when Firestorm occurred. And a lot of those issues have been looked at and examined by other agencies nationally. Other lessons have been learned. And what we have, the appendices that Randy was referencing, actually take what we had, push it a little further, has had some time and testing to that, a little more concise, address some other issues we hadn't thought of, and actually takes what we had from the 90s and pushes it another step forward, makes a much safer environment for the taxpayer. But as Randy alluded to, it also reduces the amount of language, gets rid of some redundancy. We're actually making the legal code smaller and easier to understand, and you don't have to look very far around the room to find people in favor of that. So there's been a lot of work put into this. Randy listed the agencies he's been working with. He and his staff put a lot of miles into this. I'm a big advocate for this and advocate for it, and I'd like to see this passed. If you got any questions for me, get a hold of me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to testify tonight on hearing item number 4? Second call, anyone wishing to testify on hearing item number 4? Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on hearing item number 4. Seeing no one moving forward, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing on this item. And I'll look to my fellow commissioners to see if they have any questions, comments, or a motion.
Madam Chair, I would move that we accept the recommendation of our Fire Marshal and Building Inspector, Randy Visha, and that we adopt the amendments recommended to our Spokane County Code, Title III, Chapter 3.06, and it's part of the International Fire Code.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend the Spokane County Code Title III, Chapter 3.06, the International Fire Code, as described by staff tonight. Any additional comments? Yes, sir.
Well, I'd just like to compliment Mr. Visha on his and his staff's work on bringing forward these recommended amendments, and it's always a pleasure to adopt new regulations that are actually less than and smaller than what we had previously. And I know that part of this is trying not to duplicate what's going to be in the International Fire Code for 2015. And I also want to recognize Mr. Visha for his active participation in the State Building Code development and the State Building Code Council as it relates to adopting new codes for the entire state. So congratulations and thank you for your work and your efforts.
Great, thank you very much. Any additional comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion on the floor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. That brings us to item number 5 on our agenda, which is the second of 2 open public forums. Again, this is the opportunity for anyone to speak on any topic other than what's on the agenda. I don't see anyone here, but I will go ahead and ask, is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to speak for open public forum? Seeing no one moving forward, we're going to go ahead and close open public forum, and that brings us to item number 6 tonight, which is to adjourn. So thank you for joining us for our short meeting today, and have a great evening.